The Akkorokamui is a creature deeply embedded in the folklore of the Ainu people, the indigenous inhabitants of Japan's northernmost island, Hokkaido. While the stories of this giant sea monster are often steeped in myth, there have been numerous accounts throughout history that suggest the legend of Akkorokamui may be based on real, albeit exaggerated, encounters with mysterious sea creatures. The Akkorokamui is often described as a colossal octopus or squid, a creature whose size defies the imagination. According to traditional descriptions, its tentacles could stretch for miles, and its body was said to be as large as an island. However, it is in the accounts of fishermen and sailors that we find descriptions that could have been inspired by real, albeit rare sightings of large cephalopods. Throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, reports of giant squids began to surface from various parts of the world's oceans, and Uchiura Bay, where Akkorokamui was said to reside, was no exception. Fishermen working in these waters would sometimes encounter enormous tentacles breaking the surface, often during stormy weather or rough seas. These tentacles, thick and powerful, were described as being capable of smashing boats and pulling them into the depths. The sight of these massive limbs, thrashing in the water, may have been enough to give rise to the tales of Akkorokamui. In one account from the late 1800s, a group of Japanese fishermen reported a terrifying encounter with what they believed to be Akkorokamui. According to their testimony, their small fishing vessel was suddenly lifted out of the water by a massive force beneath them. The men described seeing a forest of tentacles rising from the sea, each as thick as a tree trunk and covered in a slimy reddish skin. They managed to escape, but only just, and when they returned to shore they spoke of the encounter with hushed voices, convinced that they had narrowly avoided the wrath of the Akkorokamui. Another account, recorded in the early 20th century, comes from a group of sailors who claimed to have seen a massive creature while navigating through the waters off the coast of Hokkaido. This creature, they said, had a body that resembled that of an octopus, but was so large that it could have easily capsized their ship had it chosen to do so. They described the water around the creature as turning a deep red, which some scholars suggest could be linked to the phenomenon of bioluminescence, or possibly the release of ink by a giant squid. The sailors believed they had encountered a Akkorokamui, and their story quickly spread, reinforcing the legend. Marine biologists have since speculated that these encounters might have been with rare species of giant squids, or octopuses, that occasionally surface in the waters around Hokkaido. The giant squid, Akkorokamui, which can grow up to 43 feet, 13 meters in length, is a known inhabitant of deep ocean waters and has occasionally been found in Japanese waters. The sight of such a creature, especially in turbulent seas, could easily have been exaggerated into the monstrous Akkorokamui of legend. Despite these possible explanations, the legend of Akkorokamui persists, and the creature remains a potent symbol of the mysteries of the ocean. The real accounts of encounters with large, unidentified sea creatures add a layer of credibility to the myth, suggesting that while the stories may have been embellished over time, they could be rooted in genuine experiences. These accounts remind us that the oceans are vast and largely unexplored, and that there may still be creatures lurking in the deep that defy our understanding. The Akkorokamui, whether seen as a myth or a real creature, continues to capture the imagination of those who hear its story. It serves as a reminder of the power and mystery of the sea, and the very real fear that comes with encountering the unknown. The stories of those who claim to have seen Akkorokamui, whether based on fact or fiction, ensure that this legendary sea monster will remain a part of Japan's cultural heritage for generations to come. In the contemporary world, where the boundaries between ancient folklore and modern reality often blurs. The Penanggalan remains a chilling symbol of terror. This creature, deeply rooted in Southeast Asian legends, continues to haunt modern-day communities with unsettling encounters and sightings. Here's a detailed account of the Penanggalan as revealed through recent experiences. The Penanggalan, as described in modern sightings, maintains its traditional form, a disembodied head with trailing intestines. This grotesque figure is said to detach from its body at night, floating through the air in search of blood, particularly targeting pregnant women and newborns. Though these accounts are grounded in folklore, they resonate with striking similarities across various modern reports. In 2017, the rural village of Pahang in Malaysia experienced a series of disturbing events that led to widespread reports of a Penanggalan sighting. Villagers described nights filled with eerie disturbances, such as strange noises and an overpowering smell of decay. One particularly alarming incident involved a local farmer who, while tending his fields at dusk, saw a headless figure hovering near his home. The farmer described the floating head as having a gaunt, horrifying face, with intestines trailing below like a grotesque living shroud. The creature moved erratically, vanishing into the night before the farmer could get a clear view or seek help. Subsequent investigations by local authorities and paranormal enthusiasts found no physical evidence, but the accounts from multiple villagers corroborated the farmer's sighting. In West Java, Indonesia, a small village became the center of unsettling reports in 2019. The village faced a series of inexplicable illnesses among pregnant women, which the locals attributed to Penanggalan activity. According to witnesses, the Penanggalan was seen as a spectral figure that floated through the village, its head separated from its body and intestines trailing behind. The local shaman, upon performing a ritual, claimed to have driven the entity away. Witnesses describe seeing the Penanggalan as a pale, headless apparition with a ghastly floating head. The villagers reported an immediate improvement in health following the shaman's intervention. However, while health authorities noted the unusual nature of the illnesses, they were cautious about attributing them to folklore. In a surprising twist, Penanggalan sightings surfaced in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia's bustling capital, in 2021. This urban setting, typically disconnected from traditional rural legends, became the backdrop for a series of strange occurrences. Residents reported seeing a floating head-like figure near high-rise buildings, with trailing appendages resembling intestines. The sightings were captured in blurry video footage, which stirred significant media coverage. While some speculated that the footage might have been a hoax or a misidentification of ordinary objects, the persistent reports and the fearful reactions of witnesses added an air of authenticity to the claims. The sightings in Kuala Lumpur highlight the adaptability of folklore in modern urban environments and its impact on contemporary fears. In 2022, the island of Penang in Malaysia reported a peculiar series of nighttime disturbances. Residents spoke of hearing unsettling noises and witnessing a disembodied head drifting through their neighborhoods. One notable incident involved a security guard who saw the head floating near an abandoned building. He described the sight as both surreal and horrifying, with the head's eyes glowing faintly in the darkness and intestines trailing behind. The security guard's report was supported by several other witnesses who claimed to have seen the same entity. Despite a thorough investigation by local authorities, no concrete evidence was found, but the widespread fear among residents reflected the deep-seated cultural impact of the Penanggalan. These modern sightings of the Penanggalan underscore the enduring power of folklore in shaping contemporary experiences. Despite the advancements of modern society and the skepticism that often accompanies it, the Penanggalan remains a potent symbol of fear and mystery. The consistency of reports across different locations and settings reveals how traditional myths can persist and adapt to modern contexts, influencing both individual and collective perceptions of the supernatural. As we delve into these modern encounters, the Penanggalan serves as a reminder of the timeless nature of folklore and its ability to evoke fear and fascination in the contemporary world.